Go ahead and take out this sheet called Addition and Subtraction Multi-Step. We're going to be looking at number 1, and I want you to write down, are you reading closely and looking? Go ahead and come up to where the problem is, and circle the question mark, and go all the way back to the beginning of that sentence. And let's start reading here. It says, how many cookies did Cassie and Kayla sell? Go ahead and cross up the R and the U because we already underlined, and then let's start reading the details. It says Cassie and Kayla sold 122 cookies in the morning and 124 cookies in the afternoon. Right before they closed, they sold 5 more cookies. So let's cross that off and let's start circling our clues. So I know that this problem is about Cassie and Kayla, and I know that they were selling some cookies. It says here that they sold 122 cookies in the morning and 124 cookies in the afternoon. But then, right before they closed, they sold 5 more cookies. So let's go ahead and circle 5 more cookies. The question is asking us how many cookies, that's what we're looking for, did they sell? So how many did they get rid of? We can go ahead and cross off the C and the L because there was nothing for us to label. And I know sometimes we get a little caught off guard with the sentence down here, but all this is saying is record your answer. So write down your answer here in this griddable and fill in the bubbles on the griddable. And then it says be sure to use the correct place value whenever you're putting in your numbers. So that's just telling you to put whatever your answer is in here. Okay, so what time is it? It's 3-step time. Let's go ahead and do our 3-step. What should I do first in my 3-step? The main idea. Let's go ahead and write down how many cookies did they sell? Okay, what do you know about this problem? Well, I know that this problem is about Cassie and Kayla. And I know that they were selling cookies. I know that they sold 122 cookies in the morning and 124 cookies in the afternoon. And then they sold 5 more cookies later right before they were about to close. So how could we represent that? How could we show that in a strip diagram? Well, let's go over that information again. Who is it about? Cassie and Kayla. So I'm going to label my strip diagram with a C and a K for Cassie and Kayla. And what were they doing? Well, they were selling cookies. So this is about Cassie and Kayla's cookies. Okay, I know that they sold 122 cookies in the morning, and then they sold 124 cookies in the afternoon, and I know that they also sold 5 cookies right before they closed. And the question wants us to know how many cookies they sold in all. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm joining. So that's what we're going to have to do in this problem. What we're going to do now is we're just going to copy what I just showed you with the snap cubes as a strip diagram. So I'm going to draw how many cookies they sold in the morning, which was 122. I'm going to write AM for morning. And how many cookies they sold in the afternoon, 124. That was in the afternoon, in the PM. And then right before they closed, they sold 5 more cookies. So I'm going to write close. Okay, so I have my strip diagram here, but I don't know how many they sold in all. So I'm going to put a question mark for my total. But what we can go ahead and do is match up our strip diagram with something on our action poster. So if you go ahead and take a look at this action poster, it's going to match with joining because that's what we did with these snap cubes. We joined them together. We brought them together. And in this strip diagram example that we have here, we know the numbers that are in the strip diagram. And when you bring them together, it gets us our total. And that's what we need is our total. So let's go back. Joining, what is the operation for joining? Addition. So let's just write our clue off to the side. And now let's use, now let's add in our strategy section. So let's go down here and let's start putting these numbers together 2 at a time. So let's start with 122 and 124 What place value do we start adding with again? Oh yeah, the ones place. Remember that the ones place is the number that goes all the way down to the very edge right here. Okay, let's put together 4 and 2. Use your fingers. 4 and 2 more make 6. Now 2 and 2 in the tens place. 2 and 2 more make 4. And in the hundreds place, 1 and 1 more make 2. So that's 246, but we're not done adding it. Remember, we still have one more number. So let's join the 246 together with the 5. Let's start in the ones place again. And go ahead and grab your big number 6. Put it in your brain, say 6. Count on 5 more. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's regroup that. In the tens place, 4 and 1 more make 5. And just bring down to 2. So we have 251 cookies that were sold. And where does that 251 go in our strip diagram? Well, it goes here in our total, because we had to join all these numbers together to figure out how many they sold in all. Okay, so now what we have to do is put this number in our griddable. Now on your Scantron, whenever you're taking your test, or whenever you have a griddable like this, I never want you to label the place values inside here. That's where your numbers go. But here I'm just going to label it on the very top just to show you how the numbers go in there. So this would be the ones and the tens and the hundreds. Let's go all the way down to the very edge of our answer. The number in the ones place is a 1, so I'm going to copy that one right there in that box. And then the number in the tens place is the 5, so I'm going to put that in the tens place. And the 2 is going to go in the hundreds place. So now that we have our number here in the boxes, we can go ahead and go, and under each number we're going to bubble in that number. So under the 1, we're going to bubble 1. And under the 5, we're going to bubble 5. And under the 2, we're going to bubble 2.